So my name is Reni and I'm a writer. A lot of things motivates me. I think probably the main thing is more of an idea or a concept, and that's of a younger version of me, maybe 13, 14-year-old me going into the library and trying to find a really exciting book. I loved reading, but a lot of the stories that I read, as magical and beautiful and wonderful as they are, and as much as I still love them now, they didn't really reflect me. And I didn't even understand that as a concept until I grew older, and I realized that I've never read a book that had, a black girl as its focus. So I think that concept really motivates me, just being able to change that narrative for the younger girls growing up, the older girls actually, even like now, who still want to see themselves in these types of stories. I think that's something that's really, it's definitely motivating. So probably the main person I look up to is Shonda Rhimes. She's an American writer, and she's written for shows like Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, Private Practice. The list goes on. She's basically this phenomenal woman who for a long time basically owned Thursdays. That's all her shows used to show on the same day. And I think that the thing that stands out for me about her is the fact that she is brilliant at writing characters who are people of colour, but they're making them real and human, which I feel like not a lot of media does, in the sense that rather than focusing on their race, you end up just focusing on their characters and their humanity and their likes and dislikes. So I think that's and for me growing up, she was one of the first people that I saw doing this. So she definitely inspires me. So I think as a writer, or as anyone who's putting out content to the broader masses, it's very easy to pay attention to the comments that you hear, both good and bad. And what that does is it clouds that inner voice that you have. So for me, what's been really important is just to respect my inner voice, to be in tune with my inner voice, and to prioritize it. This story, I've had it in my head for the past 5 years, I want to say. And I never thought that I would get it published or out in the world. When I started writing it, it wasn't for that purpose at all. It was purely because I wanted to read a story like it. So I thought, I can't find it, I'll write it. I would go months without writing it and just touch in every now and then. But then eventually it got to the point where the story was just so gripping for me that I personally needed to know how it ended. And yes, I finished it, and then, the process began, and now it's at a point where people are actually reading it and loving it, and that's been amazing. I think we're seeing a shift in the market. Like I said earlier, that when I grew up, I didn't really grow up reading the type of books that I have access to now, which is, these range of wonderful stories that center Black women. And we've got so many of them coming up. We've got Black women spies, thrillers, we've got comedies, romance novels, and obviously fantasy. And I'm really excited to read more of these books and for more Black voices to make their way into the mainstream media, because I do think perception is important. And plus it would be fun to get a few more variety just going around. But that's what really excites me. Once we empower broader people, that's when we start to get better content, better initiatives all around. This is a proven fact. You get better idea generations when you have a more diverse amount of people in the room with voice and with decision-making power. So I think that, that's the best thing that you can do.